I'm Les Hall, the Interim Dean of the School of Medicine. It's my privilege to welcome you, the students of the MU School of Medicine class of 2017, to our annual White Coat Ceremony. After the sudden turn of weather this afternoon, we may recall this partly as the Wet Coat Ceremony as well. I'm also greatly pleased to see many family members and friends here for this very special occasion, and I look forward to visiting with many of you at the reception that follows this event at its completion. So let me give you a little bit of the history of the White Coat Ceremony. This ceremony was first conducted for the entering medical school class of the College of Physicians and Surgeons at Columbia University in New York City in August of 1993. It was created by Dr. Arnold Gold, a pediatrician and neurologist who was on faculty there at the time. And after its initial introduction there, it spread very quickly to other medical schools throughout the United States. Our first White Coat Ceremony here at MU was in 1997, which makes today's event our 17th annual White Coat Ceremony. It has been very popular. I think it's one of the most meaningful things we do throughout the course of our academic year here, and I think you'll understand soon why it is so popular. To help you remember this day, you will, when you get your coat, find a gold foundation pin on your white coat lapel. We are introducing another tradition today as well, which we hope will also continue into the future. For the first time, we have asked our alumni participate in this event by helping to sponsor White Coats for our students and also for providing words of wisdom from them from their years in practice. Students, when you receive your coat, you will find a card like this that lists not only the donors who have helped contribute, but you will also find words of advice to carry with you as you begin your medical education. We're extremely grateful to these alumni sponsors and the legacy that they leave our students as they embark upon this journey today. So this is your first week of medical school. It should be a week that you and your family and friends remember for the rest of your life. We know there are some things that are just necessities of starting a new part of your life, things like standing in lines to get lockers and parking assignments and having student health center check your immunization record, all of which is very exciting. But we don't want those to be the most enduring memories of this week. We feel like as you look back in your future career to this first encounter at MU School of Medicine, we want you to remember this at the time you first put on a white coat, which is a universal symbol of the medical profession, what Dr. Gold called the profession's cloak of compassion. We want you to remember standing with your classmates side by side as you pledge to uphold our profession's honor and to carry forward its values of care and compassion. We want you and your loved ones who are with you here today to cherish this day as the day that you began the transition from whatever it was you were before you came here to what you are in the process of now becoming, which is a doctor of medicine. I look forward to meeting you and getting to know you over the next 4 years. And with hard work and good fortune, we're going to get together here again in this auditorium in May of 2017. At that time, it'll be my honor to award each of you your Doctor of Medicine degree and to officially declare that you have become a physician. In that day, in 2017, you will symbolically outgrow the short white coat we're giving you today, and you will graduate to the longer white coat, which is worn by resident physicians and faculty. But that growth will not be easy. Between this day and that, you'll have to work hard, probably for many of you, harder than you have ever worked in your entire life, to acquire the physician's special knowledge and skills that you need in order to be successful. But at the same time you're doing that, you have to protect your ideals, your values, compassion, honor, and integrity, and there will be moments in the next 4 years that those are tested. The pride and respect accorded to you on that graduation day will have been well earned, but at that particular moment you will also undoubtedly know that it was well worth it. So again, let me officially welcome you and all who are here today. I hope that you enjoy this ceremony as much as I will, and that you will have fond memories of this event, which marks your medical school matriculation. I would like now to introduce our Senior Associate Dean for Education, Dr. Linda Hedrick, who will serve as the MC for the rest of this event. Dr. Hedrick leads our medical school education program and her academic work on applying continuous improvement principles as well as innovations in medical education and healthcare delivery. Dr. Hedrick, please come forward.
Good afternoon. I'd like to start by introducing some of the other members of the platform party who will be helping with this afternoon's ceremony. First, Dr. Rachel Brown, our Associate Dean for Student Programs and Professional Development. Dr. Kimberly Hoffman, the Associate Dean for Learning Strategies. And Dr. Jack Gay, our Associate Dean for Curricular Improvement. I also want to especially recognize the three young men sitting over here who are three second-year medical students who have contributed so much to this orientation week. Would you stand? Eric Delaney, Joe Moore, and Jimmy Redloff. They've brought energy and humor and good work to this week, and we're very, very grateful for that. And finally, a special recognition to the faculty members who are sitting behind me. I'm really grateful to you all for taking time out of your busy Friday afternoons in order to be with us in this important ceremony. It's been my privilege to spend a little bit of time already with the class of 2017 and different activities that have gone on in this past week. And during that time, I was able to hear them tell stories about how each of them brought an experience or more to medical school that had a lot to do with them making a commitment to a life of service in medicine. I heard them talk about being committed to serve others, to support those who are suffering, and to have an impact on others' lives. This week, the students have spent time reflecting, thinking, and talking about those experiences and commitments. And as a class, they've developed a series of statements describing the kind of physician they want to be. In your program, you'll find these 96 statements. Yesterday afternoon, they voted for 12 that they wanted to have presented as part of the ceremony this afternoon, and it is my great honor to read those 12 to you now. The members of the MU School of Medicine class of 2017 want to be physicians who build deep and meaningful relationships with their patients to deliver care that incorporates each one's varying backgrounds, beliefs, and preferences, who value the contributions of fellow healthcare professionals and also those of their patients and their families. Physicians who practice the art of medicine through equality, passion, and humility, and who know that critical thinking applies both to the science and the art of medicine. Physicians who educate, reassure, and inspire confidence in their patients, who are committed to promoting social justice by providing care to those who are marginalized or medically underserved. Physicians who care, comfort, and inspire hope in patients at all stages of life. The class of 2017 wishes to become physicians who are able to reflect upon their experiences with patients and colleagues in order to recognize areas for self-improvement, who through reflection and assessment possess the ability to constructively self-criticize in order to provide quality, personalized care. Physicians who exhaust all possibilities to find a solution, who know it's impossible to do everything, but who endeavor to do all within their abilities. And finally, physicians who are spending their lives cultivating a love for learning and service. These statements provide evidence that the class of 2017 and the MU School of Medicine faculty share a vision for the kind of physicians who will graduate from this medical school, the kind of physicians their future patients deserve. Now, the class has already seen this, but for those of you who haven't, we'd like you to take your programs and open them to the middle. On the right-hand side of the middle pages, you'll see the MU School of Medicine foundation values for medical education. I encourage you to read all of these, but I particularly want to draw your attention now to the first one that states, "The health of our patients is our first priority. The highest quality healthcare is the environment for the highest quality education of future physicians." Now I'd like you to turn the page, and on the next 2 pages, you will find a list of characteristics that describe what the School of Medicine faculty have decided that we want our graduates to be like. We call these the MU 2020 key characteristics because we believe that this is what our graduates need to be successful as physicians in practice in the year 2020. Amazingly enough, only a few short years after this group of students graduate from medical school. The key characteristic listed first, for a reason, because everything else supports this, is being able to deliver effective patient-centered care that respects individual perspectives, beliefs, values, and cultures, shares timely, complete, accurate, and understandable information to inform health choices, engages each person as he or she prefers, understanding that care choices belong to that individual, and partners in decision-making and the delivery of care. We've invited a 4th-year medical student, Mariah Dreisinger, to say a word about what all of this means from a 4th-year medical student's point of view. Mariah is from Jefferson City, Missouri. She went to college at Westminster College in Fulton, where she got a degree in biology, and she also has a master's of public health in epidemiology and behavioral science health education from St. Louis University. Please join me in welcoming 4th-year medical student Mariah Dreisinger.
Hey guys, I think we met yesterday and I confessed to you my love for the geriatric population, a little embarrassingly, but it's good to see you all again. You look wonderful. I'm very honored to be here today to celebrate with you this momentous occasion, your white coat ceremony. It's kind of hard to believe that it's been 3 years since I sat where you guys are sitting right now. The time literally flies by, so hold on to your white coats. When Dean Hedrick asked me to speak to you at this ceremony, I took some time to go back and reflect on those key characteristics that she just shared with you. It's amazing how much these tenets have been woven into the years of school so far that I've had. With the overarching goal of delivering effective patient-centered care, during my time here at Mizzou, I've learned to focus on skills such as communication, collaboration, quality improvement, lifelong learning, and professional development, just to name a few things. I know that you have all had the opportunity to participate in the activities this week and create that list of goals. I also know that the admission committee is incredibly deliberate at who they choose to come to this school. And so I have absolutely no doubt that you're going to be incredibly patient-centered physicians in the future. So back to that time reflecting. I thought about the patient interactions I've had the opportunity to have in medical school. I thought about the ways in which I've learned to manifest the key characteristics in my practice. And I was reminded of one patient in particular. During my first and second years, I had the awesome opportunity of being one of the 3 directors that ran MedZoo Community Health Clinic, which I hope all of you all will have a chance to work with in the next 4 years. It's a student-run free clinic, and this patient's name was Gerald. And Gerald is a homeless gentleman that lives here in Columbia, and he lives at the St. Francis House for Men. He started coming to MedZoo while I was the director. And the first day I met Gerald, his energy and his excitement for life was utterly contagious. By the end of the first night we were working together, we were fast friends. I'm not really sure if he came to every clinic, but he showed up at every single clinic that I was director, whether he was on the schedule or not. I saw Gerald every single week that I was at MedZoo. He would let the students practice on him, as you would call it. He would let them take his blood pressure, his blood glucose, he'd let them weigh them. Basically anything that the students wanted to do, Gerald was game. I know we were all gaining a significant quality of life from his friendly personality and his sheer excitement at being at MedZoo. And I only hope that he also was gaining a lot from having a place to come where he felt welcomed every single time that he walked through the door. Over the months, I received all kinds of things I called Gerald presents. So I received Beanie Babies. One time he brought me some slippers, all kinds of fabulous gifts. And I knew that he had spent some time specifically picking them out for me. One day, this is like the best memory of Gerald that I have. One day I was working out at a gym downtown Wilson's. They're open all night, which is wonderful for med students because you can go at any hour and work out when you're stressed. And so I was on the treadmill, kind of in the zone, and this lady walks up to me and she taps me on the shoulder and she's like, "Do you know that guy?" And I look up and there's Gerald, face pressed against the glass, waving at me with this giant smile. And I was like, "Well, yeah, that's my friend Gerald." So I knew at that moment that he was no longer just a patient to me. He was my friend. One night while I was at MedZoo, a friend that mutually knew Gerald came up to me and told me that they had learned that Gerald had Medicaid. So that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. He has insurance, right? But my heart sank because what that meant to me was that Gerald could no longer come to MedZoo as one of our patients because we only see patients who are uninsured. Apparently, he'd had Medicaid for a while. He just didn't know what that meant. Unfortunately, I knew what this meant. It meant that I had to tell Gerald that he couldn't come back to MedZoo as a patient any longer. I know it seems silly when I say this, but for me, this was very scary to have to talk to him about. I felt like I was betraying my friend. One of the challenges of building really good relationships with patients is that it's harder and harder to break bad news to them or tell them things that you don't want to tell them because you feel like you're closer to them. And I always felt like I was letting down a patient who loved MedZoo and who got so much out of his visits there. But I knew that it was the right thing to do, that I needed to sit him down and talk to him. But my fears were, hurting his feelings, making him feel abandoned. There were so many concerns that I had. It took me some time to build up the confidence to tell him, but one night at MedZoo, I sat him down, and I explained to him our mission at MedZoo and what having Medicaid meant. One of the things I was thankful about is that at MedZoo, we learn a ton about Medicaid and Medicare and all the different insurance options. So I was able to explain to him very clearly what Medicaid meant, and that we could connect him to great resources at another facility in town, the Family Health Center. They'd actually be better care because he'd get the same doctor every time he came in. But it's still, he wasn't going to get to come back to MedZoo as a patient. So talking to him, none of my fears were realized. Just sitting down and having the conversation and explaining it to him, at the end he said, "Okay, thanks," gave me a big hug. And after a little negotiating, because all patients in our care requires asking the patient what they want as well, and having them be involved. And what he wanted was to still come to MedZoo every week and visit as a friend, not to be a patient, but to be able to still come. So we negotiated, and he can still come to MedZoo and visit because I told him all his friends at MedZoo would miss him if he didn't. So not long after all of this happened, my mother passed away. It was the second year of med school. It was an incredibly devastating time for myself and my family. We decided to honor her with a celebration that included a dance party at the end. And I know that sounds strange, but that would be how my mom would want to be celebrated. And so all of my friends and classmates, people in the community came to help me celebrate the life of my mother, including Gerald. It made my heart so happy that I could build a relationship with a patient that allowed me to be open and honest with him, but also let me keep ties with him. He even made it out on the dance floor to dance for a little while. I told you this story because I can honestly link it to every key characteristic I've been taught while a medical student here at MedZoo, but a couple of these characteristics stand out in particular. Of course, by allowing Gerald to continue to come to MedZoo as a visitor while also finding him care somewhere else that was better suited to his needs, I was able to deliver effective patient-centered care to him. But my training also taught me to be honest with him and to hold high ethical standards in my interactions, despite how afraid I was of how he would respond. And finally, I was able to collaborate and communicate with him effectively to develop a caring and hopefully lifelong relationship. I tell you this story because relationships like this will happen for you over and over again for the next 4 years and for the rest of your career. The beauty of our career choice is that we'll be a part of very intimate and vulnerable situations and times in people's lives. They'll tell you things that they may not tell anyone else. If we allow ourselves to be open to it, and we recognize that honest communication with our patients is the only way to practice medicine, I believe we will have the most rewarding career possible. I encourage you to continue to take time to reflect on those key characteristics and those statements that you all created this week. In the coming months and years, it'll become really easy to lose sight of why you're here right now. Tests, stress, ever-approaching deadlines, they'll continue to cloud your mind at times. And as hard as it might be to believe, not everyone you encounter will have the same passion and the drive that you do. Stand strong. Stay true to the key characteristics, and I promise they will become second nature to you, and they'll become who you are as a practitioner. This is what makes Mizzou different. You all were chosen for a reason. When I look around at my fellow classmates, I am continually amazed at their compassion, their drive, and their sheer brilliance. They're incredible. You will find the same among the men and women around you. Look around. Each of you will push each other to be better, and to be more patient-centered, and to be excellent. I'm honored to call each and every single one of you my new colleagues. You will do great things. And from this day forward, in everything you do, I challenge you to do it with passion. Thank you.
Remember all the things I said about patient-centeredness a few minutes ago? We just heard a great example of that. Class of 2017, the wonderful news is that you too will connect with and learn from patients in the same way that Mariah just described. Those people who give you the privilege of being part of their care. And they will become some of your most important teachers, teaching you things that you will remember the rest of your careers. And will help you become the physicians that we've described together. So once again, congratulations and welcome to the entering class of 2017. Now it's my pleasure to welcome Dr. Brown to the podium. She'll say a few words and introduce this afternoon's speaker.
So I just want to add a few words on behalf of the faculty and administration of the School of Medicine. In particular, I want to thank the families and friends of our new students. We know, and our students know, I'm sure, that they would not be here if it wasn't for the families standing behind and beside them. We're really, truly grateful, and your students' patients will be grateful in future to you, the parents and spouses, partners, significant others, siblings, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, even the children of our medical students. So I'm going to do something that I've not done before at the White Coat Ceremony, but I think it's important. I'm going to ask our class to stand up and turn around and find your family and say thank you. We know that getting to medical school is really hard work for the student, and it's really hard work for the families as well. I want to tell you about a couple of things that you can be part of if you want to continue to be part of your medical student's life. First of all, our medical students have long been grateful to FAMS. FAMS stands for Families Assisting Medical Students, and it's kind of the medical school PTA, but mostly what you do is the booster kind of stuff. So FAMS does wonderful things to help our students out. They provide, one of the most important things they do is provide food during exam week. Exam week's really a very stressful time for our students. They're very busy. They often don't have time to eat healthy and cook and those kinds of things. So FAMS has provided school food for our medical students on some, at least, of the days of exam week. They also provide supplies for the call rooms that our students use when they have to stay overnight in the hospital in their clinical years, the 3rd and 4th years of medical school. FAMS has a table outside in the auditorium, on the way down to the atrium. So if you haven't had information about FAMS already, there'll be an opportunity for you to join before you leave here this afternoon and participate in that organization. You'll also find a table outside from the American Medical Women's Association, and you can buy a care package for your student that'll be delivered to them just before exam week or during exam week that has a nice note from you and kind of healthy snacks and that kind of stuff. And then finally, I also want to take this opportunity to invite all of the families to our annual Family Day. And Family Day this year will be on Saturday, August the 24th. It's coordinated by Jen Wacko from the Office of Medical Education, and you saw her handing out little flyers for that. And you'll get an invitation and a packet in the next few days. We mailed them out today, so they should get to you by early next week. So like I say, Saturday, August the 24th, and it'll run from 8:30 in the morning till early afternoon, and have a number of different things and opportunities for tours of the medical school and talks and that kind of stuff, so you can find out what your students up to after they got here. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce Dr. Tim Fate, who's this year's White Coat Ceremony faculty speaker. I asked Dr. Fate for a bio, and usually, of course, you get a long bio that has all their honors and publications and where they went to school and all of that stuff, and Tim has that. But he responded that he'd just like me to say just this. Tim Fate is our chair for the Department of Child Health. He is a pediatrician.
So, thank you, Dr. Brown. What a great day for you guys to finish off a week of orientation. I know it's been a fun week, challenging, but you get to end with a really, really special ceremony. Congratulations to each of you for all the things that you've really already accomplished in your life, because otherwise you wouldn't have the opportunity to be here to embark on a career in medicine. You all have to be good. You have to be accomplished. I didn't have the opportunity to have a white coat ceremony because I'm older than that, and the first one hadn't been held yet. Even more interestingly, I didn't get to sit in those seats because the University of Missouri School of Medicine is the only school of medicine of the 7 that I applied to that didn't accept me. This is a true story. So I came back to haunt them. So I am a pediatrician by trade, and for pediatricians it's hard to get past the magical, mystical times of 4-year-olds, and we sit on the floor and examine our patients and are blessed to have such fun patients as we do. So in that vein, I like to think of my white coat more as the cape of a superhero, and there are very few docs who have their, oh no, here it is. I thought it was in the other pocket, who have their very own superhero named after them. This is truly a Marvel superhero, Dr. Fate, complete with yellow cape. And I've gotten 2 of those from patients over the last many years. And although the comic books are usually larger, this is one of the mini versions of Dr. Fate. I get to share this experience with Superman. So it was quite fun to read. So again, I really like to consider that the white coat is something that is blessed with the powers of a superhero. And we each have the ability to determine what qualities we want to be blessed with that superhero cape. I tried to think of things to talk about that would be those characteristics, and thought about the key characteristics of our graduating medical students that you've just heard about, and realized that you've been talking about those all week, so that would be kind of old. I gave some thought to talk about the values that our medical school holds dear, and we do, and we talk about them in the same vein with our mission statement and our vision statement, but decided that you probably had heard those this week as well. So I'm a pediatrician. You probably have to have heard about the poem that everything I really needed to learn, I learned in kindergarten. Great poem. I was a slow learner. I think that everything I needed to learn, I was older. So at the age of 11, I was a tenderfoot Boy Scout, and I had the opportunity to learn the 12 points of the Scout Law. So a Scout will be trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. I think those are great thoughts for superhero capacities that our capes could add to us. I'm not going to bore you with talking about all 12 of those, but I would like to hit a couple of the highlights. Trustworthy, Mariah talked about earlier how important it is for us to value that our patients, for me, patients are parents, their families and kids, to be able to trust us with their deepest, most personal thoughts, dreams, ambitions, and we should never, ever betray the trust that the patients have shown in us by sharing those things with us. Adolescent patients are a great example for that. So just in clinic a couple days ago, we had a 12-year-old girl in, and we had to kind of turn to mom and say, well, she's old enough that she needs to help participate in her own care, and that we like to give the kids some confidentiality. Sometimes there are things that kids will want to talk about that they don't feel comfortable sharing with their parents. And so we would really like to have the opportunity to talk with her about those things without you in the room. And yes, we're going to talk about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And that's true. So we ask very personal questions of our adolescents about their mental status, depression, how safe it is at their home, their household, their possible experience with tobacco, alcohol, drugs, sexual activity. And the adolescents over the years of getting to know us prior to that have hopefully developed that trust, and it's amazing the things that they will share with us that they haven't shared with their parents. And in the absence of that trust, they wouldn't do that. Of interest is that the majority of the kids in my career who have expressed high-risk behaviors have actually been pleading with me or my colleagues to help them talk to their parents and actually serve as an intermediary. So I've had several occasions where I've had the opportunity to sit with a teenage girl to tell her parents that she's pregnant and help her get through that experience and be able to move forward and make a plan for the adolescent and the potential subsequent child. Without a trust built over the years, the adolescents wouldn't share those with us. So the second of the Boy Scouts tenets is loyalty. I believe a physician should remain loyal to the oath that she took at medical school graduation to hold her patient's needs above all else, and you all will have that opportunity in a few short years. Helpful. Hopefully our patients consider the medical care that we provide to them is helpful. But there's so much more. I mean, you heard about Mariah's experience with MedZoo, and I think it's the experience of all of our medical students, the great bonding experience, a great learning experience. And those patients often need help that's not just medical. It has to do with, social, emotional, or other mental health issues. I spend much of my time helping patients, find the resources to be able to feed their child, find the other resources that they need in their community to be able to raise their child in a healthy environment. So there's much more to help in the medical profession than just the medical care that we provide. The other support that we provide our patients is very important. A scout is friendly. So who wants to go to a crabby doctor, right? There are those out there. I hope you don't plan to be one of those. I have to admit, I think we have the easiest gig in town as pediatricians. It's very easy to be friendly when you've got a kid for the patient. I mean, a child is amazing. They're always ready to give you a high five on the way in the room, to give you a hug shortly after a shot, and to forgive you quickly for any medical harm that you give them. So Kids make it easy for a doctor to be friendly. Those of you who choose adult patients may find that more difficult. So a scout is courteous. The golden rule of treating others in the manner in which you would like to be treated. It's usually easy to be courteous, but every physician at some point in his or her training or career is going to run into that patient that is really, upset, angry, potentially cursing, at you. I've certainly had that experience. And it's difficult to be able to turn around and be courteous to that patient at the time that they're cursing you. But it's our duty to really understand, have empathy for the fears and concerns that patient's faced with that would make them act in that fashion. So I would challenge you that when you're faced with that difficult patient, that you still treat them the way that you would like to be treated. Obedient, oh my God, there are so many rules that you guys are going to have to learn how to follow. So we're obedient to all kinds of rules. There are HIPAA rules that help protect patient privacy. There are compliance rules to make sure that we document everything we do on paper so that we can be paid for it. But most importantly, that we hold true and are obedient to the moral and ethical rules that guide us in our decision making that we share with our patients on a daily basis. Cheerful, I won't go through. That's back to the happy smile routine again. Thrifty, now more than ever, physicians need to be mindful of the cost of medical care. And that's a cost to the individual patient that you have in the room or family, but it's a cost to society as well. Does that kid really need the new designer antibiotic for his infection, or would amoxicillin work just as well that they can get for $4 or free at Walmart or Schnucks? Or better yet, because we want everything that we do treatment-wise to be based on evidence, sharing with the family that the evidence is for ear infections, that for every 12 ear infections we treat with antibiotics, 1 gets better because of the antibiotic, and the other 11 would have gone away on their own. And in fact, we prefer not to treat ear infections in young kids other than certain circumstances, and have to share that information with the family. Outside of the individual patient, as physicians, you will be looked upon by society to make decisions that impact the population as a whole. Do we spend more money on prevention rather than cure, such as immunizations in children, save millions or billions downstream in preventing illness? At one point, I thought that pediatricians were going to immunize themselves out of a job. A lot of the diseases that I treated daily 35 and 40 years ago, you guys aren't going to see because of the benefit of immunizations. Fortunately or unfortunately, it seems like kids still have other issues that pediatricians can work with, so we haven't immunized ourselves out of a job yet. But you guys are going to be important sources of information. Some of you will choose a career that includes public health and be directors of public policy. And so you'll need to be thrifty, as the Boy Scouts say, in how you're going to recommend we use medical resources. A Scout's brave. You guys probably have no concept right now how many times over the next 40 years of your career you're going to have to demonstrate courage. The first time you do a procedure, the first spinal tap that you do as a third-year medical student, the first surgical procedure you do as a fourth-year sub-intern or as a resident. Actually, one of my first scares was the place that I trained was a children's hospital in St. Louis that had 100 pediatricians in the house all the time. And they were at your fingertips. But I finished 365 days of internship, and the next day I became the chief resident in pediatrics at St. Louis County Hospital, which doesn't exist anymore. If any of you guys are from St. Louis, it's the Galleria Mall. But it used to be St. Louis County Hospital, and it was a shared hospital between the Washington University Medical Service and the SLU Medical Service, and so we had a small pediatric presence there, and so it was me, an intern, and a couple of medical students for anybody who walked in the door, and that took a fair amount of courage to face that month. There are lots of other kinds of courage that you'll have the challenge and the opportunity to show. Sitting with a young couple that you had just examined their newborn and found, medical malformations that you need to discuss with them. Sitting with the adolescent that you've just diagnosed with leukemia or lymphoma. Sitting or crying or praying with the family who's at the bedside of a patient in the pediatric intensive care unit. Hopefully you'll have the opportunity to do what I did last year and go to Guatemala and take care of Native Mayan children. But when you're going down there, you're thinking, they may not have the resources that I need to be able to take care of the kid, and knowing that you're going to have to manufacture those resources. I'm somewhat embarrassed, but somewhat proud of the fact that I'm still a year later walking around with my red pediatric stethoscope that has gray duct tape on it because it snapped when I was down there, and I had to heat it up over a campfire to get the stethoscope head back on and then tape it back together again. And I still haven't replaced that. I think it's a real special stethoscope, and I'll probably always have the duct tape on it. My patients probably think I'm too poor to... And pediatricians, what the heck? We're the Rodney Dangerfields of medicine. We get no respect. But anyhow, sometimes for those kids in Guatemala, the resources aren't there. You can't manufacture them, and the kids aren't going to benefit from the resources that you wish you could provide for them. So that takes bravery, it takes courage to face that. A scout's clean. Wash your hands. Wash your hands, wash your hands. You'll get really tired of it when you're on service with me at Children's Hospital because it's in and out of every room. Wash your hands in, wash your hands out. We physicians think that we've done such wonderful things with medical advancement over the last couple hundred years, but the single best advancement that has improved the health of populations in the world is clean water. So clean water beats us hands down. So a scout is clean. Reverent, to be deeply respectful or in awe. Many folks use reverent in the context of God or deity, which is great, but you can be respectful and hold things in awe that are not necessarily deities. And I believe that physicians need to be deeply respectful and in awe of the complexity and beauty of the human body and the calling that we've had and the training that we've had that allows us to be able to help to take care of those patients. So, trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Each of you guys will have a different skill set that you're going to want to put in your white coat, your cape. And I hope you choose the best skill set for you and look at that white coat as the cape that embraces you and allows you to have that skill set that you need to follow through in that career and use those for the well-being of your patients and families. So I pray that you guys will be as lucky that I have been over the last 40 years. It was 40 years ago this month that I started medical school. I can honestly say that I get up every single day for those 40 years excited to have the opportunity to take care of kids and families and feel blessed that I've had that opportunity. And I hope you, 40 years from now, can look back and feel the same way. So God bless you and your families, and welcome to the club. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fate. We are now at the moment in the ceremony where members of the class of 2017 will come to the stage and be recognized one by one. Dean Brown will call out their names. They'll come and put on their white coats and receive our congratulations. This is a meaningful, important occasion and also a joyful one. So members of the audience are welcome to make the moment memorable, however you feel appropriate. You're also welcome to take pictures, but please be aware that there'll be a professional photographer down here taking pictures of the students with their white coats on. But I think there's lots of room for everyone. All right, you guys ready? Yeah? Yeah, ready. All right, well, will the class of 2017 please approach the stage?
It is a pleasure and an honor to be the one who gets to read the names of the class of 2017. Samiat Agunbiade. Luke Andrea. Nicholas Arnold. Ryan Bailey. Angela Berger. Jeff Berry. Benjamin Brazil. Mel Bruni. Greg Sejas. Frank Chan. John Clohesi. Kelsey Coe. Robert Crystal. Christopher Cunningham. Jesse Day. Ashonde Bozorgi. Riley Duckworth. Shelby Emmett. Michael Ford. Jesse Garwood. David Gilly. Taylor Goldammer. Corey Gooch. Tyler Gouge. Emery Gray. Venkata Gupta. Jamie Hadley. John Hakim. Landon Hendricks. Cameron Hinkle. Bryce Holshaw. Kate July. Stephen Kalkoff. Alan Keller. Paige Kuhlman. Katie Quetta. David Lee. Sung Ali. David Lesko. Hal Lewis. Jung Lee. Shafi Lodi. Cynthia Lombardo. Simon Martin. Sakshi Martha. Kayla Matzek. Marlena McDowell. Joe McGreevy. Drennan Murching. Matt Mooberry. Okay. He's going to be different. Ryan Morrow. Brett Neal. Jay Nelson. Marina Nimatala. Maxwell Newby. Madeline Navoa. Alyssa Oviet. Jay Patel. Pooja Patel. Stephanie Peace. Shilpa Peddy. Vera Prisakari. Emily Putz. Ryan Rader. Mark Robertshaw. David Rosenfeld. Jacqueline Ross. Ashley Ruff. Benjamin Schmidt. John Schneider. Stacy Schneider. Kelsey Schreiber. Aaron Shue. Emily Sellers. Whitney Snyders. Gary Stover. Ashley Sweeney. Marlena Sevcek. Mitch Tarker. Vladimir Chikrizov. Sarah Tepe. Misty Todd. Shizuka Tomatsu. Stephanie Tosh. Alex Tungsvik. Spencer Vale. Sun Vo. Molly Wasserman. Kara Watson. Brian Weiss. Alison Williams. John Worley. Chrissy Wymore. Patricia Young. Jacob Zembles. And Marcin Zubrek. And congratulations to class of 2017. Now, the final part of the ceremony, I'd ask Dr. Hall to come forward to the podium to administer the oath.
The public generally first thinks of the Hippocratic Oath when the topic of a physician's oath is raised, but there are several similar oaths that are also widely used in the medical profession. Many feel that the wording of these alternative oaths is preferable to that of the Hippocratic Oath because it is more contemporary. At the University of Missouri School of Medicine, we ask each of our graduating classes to select the oath that they would like to take, and for many years now, MU seniors have consistently selected the Oath of Geneva as the one that holds the most meaning for them. The values addressed in this and other oaths are the values that we heard previously from Mariah, Dr. Fate, and Dr. Hedrick when they spoke to us today. They are not values that you adopt, though, only at the end of medical school. They are values that must be part of who and what you are as a person and as a physician while you are in training. So we've modified the wording of the Oath of Geneva only slightly so that it now applies to those beginning medical school, and we have used it in each of our previous white coat ceremonies. We ask that you at this moment pledge yourselves to these values that will guide you in the practice of medicine and in the conduct of your lives. The oath is printed in your program. Because of the solemnity of this occasion, I'm going to ask that the platform party and the audience also stand along with our class as I administer the Oath of Geneva to the members of the class of 2017. I would ask that the class of 2017 please repeat after me. At the time of being admitted as a student member of the medical profession, I solemnly pledge to consecrate my life to the service of humanity. I will give to my teachers the respect and gratitude that is their due. I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity. The health of my patient will be my first consideration. I will respect the secrets that are confided in me even after the patient has died. I will maintain by all the means in my power the honor and noble traditions of the medical profession. My colleagues will be my sisters and brothers. I will not permit considerations of age, disease or disability, creed, ethnic origin, gender, nationality, political affiliation, race, sexual orientation, social standing, or any other factor to intervene between my duty and my patient. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I will not use my medical knowledge to violate human rights and civil liberties, even under threat. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. Thank you. Please be seated.
Just a couple more things to do to finish up the ceremony. Earlier, Dr. Hall mentioned the gold foundation pen, which you'll find on one lapel of your white coat. That'll hopefully help you remember the important things we did together this afternoon. On the other lapel is an MU 2020 pin. That's to help you remember all the things we've talked about in terms of the kind of physician that we want you to become and our honest promise to you to do our best to help you get there. I have to tell you, you guys look terrific. This is an amazing perspective up here. Mariah and I were just going, wow, they look different. So I just get to do this again. Please stand up and turn around and let people have a look at you. Thank you very much. A couple of housekeeping announcements. At the end of the ceremony, the class of 2017 will report to the north part of Jesse Hall, that's the column side outside, to get your pictures taken. And then we hope that everyone then afterwards will join us in the atrium of Jesse for some light refreshments and a bit of a reception. I want to thank again Dr. Fade, student Dr. Dreisinger, and also especially now the Office of Medical Education staff are the ones who really make this happen. Would you guys stand up so we can thank you for this wonderful ceremony? Thank you very much for being with us this afternoon, and please stay and enjoy some refreshments with us. Congratulations again.